Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I know it's been a very busy day for you.
Yeah,
As you
it's
know,
true.
friends, Suresh is much in demand in all the channels. In fact, after this, he's joining the Manorama channel. So,
The Doordarshan,
uh,
Doordarshan Malayalam, actually.
Doordarshan, yes, yes. So, thank you for joining us, Suresh.
Sure. Thank you, Meena.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So, moving
I
on to the
was in your town
latest.
last week, but unfortunately, I couldn't meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go on, Meena.
yeah. So, I'll just add, yeah, Jaydev has also joined us. Taking the latest piece of news, Sureshi, Donald Trump seems to be almost skidding on thin ice. He seems to be navigating a treacherous political terrain, facing escalating animosity from Democrats and growing disillusionment from his own right wing base over his pro Israel policies. Prominent conservative voices are now openly decrying his stance, fueling suspicions validated by Jewish American support for his Iran approach. Now, coupled with his overtly self serving deal making, unprecedented in recent presidencies, Trump finds himself in a severe double bind. So it looks like he must satisfy his powerful benefactors, yet doing so alienates critical supporters, leaving him open to attack from both sides amidst rising frustration within the US military and a broader perception that draining the swamp was a ruse. It seems like every decision he makes is fraught with unsettling consequences, as those seeking America's destabilization may now find common cause internally. Now, inviting Asif Munir for talks and negotiations seems to be his latest ploy. In the midst of all this, India is busy evacuating its citizens from Iran and Israel. So, what's happening, Suresh, in your point of view?
I think the situation is a bit messed up right now. What Trump should have done was that he should have just given the bunker buster bombs to uh, Israel, but the point is, Israel cannot fly those B 2 bombers. Somebody needs to fly that, and only Americans can fly it. Forget Vadra right now. He could have just given the complete support, saying that I will take care of all the missiles coming your way. I will get Britain also to chip in. I will get Jordan to chip in so that the odd missiles that escapes either the Iron Dome or before that can David Sling or before that the Patriot. Either of these three getting through, we will ensure that we will take care of that. That is not being done. So Israel is kind of stretched right now because its air force is working literally double shift. Its army, of course, is technically taking care of the incoming missiles. Its navy, of course, has nothing much to do right now because it's Iran is pretty too far away to do anything of that sort. Then they don't have that kind of aircraft carrier to float around that. But US has done its bit. It's got Nimitz. It's got two more aircraft carriers that have been moved closer to the Israeli coast. Now, from that itself, we can guess the idea is not to strike Iran right now with any cruise missiles or anything like they did for Saddam Hussein. In the end game of Saddam Hussein, they would rather be near the Israeli coast and take care of any incoming missiles from Iran. See, Iran is down to its last, I think, from what the reading goes, is around 10,000 and the maximum 10,000. And I think at the conservative estimate, around 5,000 missiles. They are down to that. The launchers are down. They seem to have only about something 15 to 20 launchers left, both fixed and mobile. The launchers are very important for Iran because their air force is virtually non existent. The only way they can launch these missiles is by getting those launchers in place. But as we know, the moment that is done, the first thing that Israel does is spot that launching pad and destroy it. So maybe they will not catch it the time it is launched, but they will catch it the time when it is after it is done and they'll go after that target. But the US part of it is messed up. And as you rightly said, President Trump fled the G7 summit. God only knows why. He was creating an impression that he was going to drop an atom bomb on Iran, but there was no reason for him to leave the G7 summit. As we saw, there was a lot of hype that happened. Okay, you moved your B 2 bombers, you moved the refuelers to kind of Middle East and also to the other bases in the Middle East, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. But then what happened? But the point is very simple. Mina is at the end of it, it's all action, and action is being done only by the Israelis. Trump is only talking. There's no action from his end, as you rightly said. Calling Asif Munir and then getting him to recommend him for a Nobel Prize was the most ridiculous thing that one heard in the recent times. It is like almost like a school kiddish stuff, where if you want to get elected as the head boy of the school, you go around taking recommendations from the parents of the children, who have got crucial voting rights there. And this is what he's doing. I mean, how can Asif Munir recommendation for a Nobel Prize? In fact, it would disqualify him actually, because Asif Munir is a nobody, and the Stockholm guys won't really bother about who this chap is. Trump desperately wants a Nobel Prize because last time the Palestinians and Israelis shook hands, somebody got a Nobel Prize. Not one, but three got the Nobel Prize that time. So he thought this time he would get it. But unfortunately, the Russians are no more to listen to him. The Ukrainians are all ready to listen to him. On the other hand, India says nothing, we have nothing to do with you. And Modi's readout on the call that he had with President Trump clearly shows that President Trump had no role. He's trying to play the role of a peacemaker, and which he cannot because nobody takes him seriously. The problem is, if you want to do something, do it. Don't talk about it. That is the most important thing in international politics. He keeps on talking about tariffs, goes to 45% on China, and then says we have a deal. And the Chinese says there are absolutely no deal at all. What deal are you talking about? Then he says Iranians are ready to talk. They in fact called me half an hour ago. And the Iranian says, who called him? Nobody called him. So the problem is the post of the president of the United States is extremely crucial in international politics. It is even as many as the time he goes to the restroom is calculated to see how serious he is in his business. And the problem with Trump is when it's like that old story in the village where a small guy often screams saying that lion has come, the lion has come, or the tiger has come, the tiger has come. And finally, when the tiger comes, nobody takes him seriously. So that is the kind of situation that we see with President Trump. He's got far too many loose statements that he's making, which have been done by his defense secretary or even by his other junior officers. Even Vice President Vance could have done it. But the problem with Trump is he wants to claim credit for everything. If it rains in America, he wants to claim credit. If it rains in Europe, he wants to claim credit. If something happens good with Israel, he wants to claim credit. The problem is now that is wearing thin. And as you rightly said at the start, even his own partymen are kind of now giving up on him because he's kind of going nowhere. He's like a loose cannon. He's a Subramaniam Swami of the United States right now.
Okay, back to you, Jeff.
Suresh, coming to the next, very interesting news is that Robert Vadra, husband of Priyanka Gandhi, has not appeared before the ED for questioning in the money laundering case linked to the UK-based fugitive arms dealer Sanjay Bandari. And it is reported that Vadra would be attending the summons, but he has, missed the summons. And so you can see that, what is happening with Robert Vadra.
See, Robert Vadra, Rahul Gandhi, remember last month he had a summons which he was supposed to attend. He didn't attend for last 8 years. 8 years he hasn't attended that particular summons. He hasn't responded to it. And finally, the court, and I think it's in UP, got tired and sick of it and said, boss, if you don't appear this time, we're going to arrest you. The problem with these people is that they think they're God's gift to mankind. Okay, be it Robert Vadra, be it Rahul Gandhi, be it Priyanka Vadra. The dynasty thinks that they are above law. They don't need to appear for anything. They don't need to be answerable to anybody. I mean, if you look at the National Herald case, for example, it is an open and shut case, Jaydev. There's nothing in it. It's very open and shut case. I mean, somebody invests 50 lakhs and grabs a 2,000 crore company. Even Adani cannot come up with a business model like that. But then what happens? Nothing happens. I mean, this is a private complaint filed by Subramaniam Swami. On the other hand, there is a case against Rahul Gandhi for his citizenship, British citizenship. It's been with the Ministry of Home Affairs for almost 8 years now. Each time the court asks for the kind of closure on this, the Home Ministry, whoever is appearing for the Government of India says, we need some more time. I don't understand why. Why is the Modi government treating Rahul Gandhi, Robert Vadra, and others with kids' gloves? On the other hand, there is not a single day when Jairam Ramesh or Pawan Khera or Supriya Shirante doesn't abuse Narendra Modi. I mean, it is a kind of, the social media team BJP is also kind of given up now. It is only people like me and others, and maybe possibly you in your free time, can go after these people and tell them, boss, what you're doing is fake. I mean, every time they come up with a story of Modi not being invited to, Canada, or kind of Asim Munir being invited for the parade, these are big things, fake news that comes out, and then they shift the goalpost immediately. Now with Robert Vadar, the same thing. I mean, you have his old cases that is there already. You know that very well. The Skylight case in Haryana that was there. What happened to that case? Nobody knows. This is the problem: is that these are cases which have been closed long back. The problem is you're giving them a long rope, and they're hanging you with it, not them. That is the problem. So these are entitlement. They think that, as I told you earlier, they are all. They think there's something special. Ordinary Indian citizen has to face the law, but not them. And this is kind of. Sometimes I wonder if it's BJP that is ruling, or is it Congress still in power, and BJP feeling that they are in the opposition. For everything and anything, you cannot get Narendra Modi, but somewhere in the way, BJP has to take a call, saying, "Look, we're going to go after these guys now. Let them scream and cry. They're saying that it is political vendetta and whatnot. Okay, so be it. But achieve a closure to us. Either way, either let the court say, okay, there's no evidence and throw it out, or you come and convict these guys and put them in the jail. Either way, they are scared of doing it. I don't know why. And this Robert Vadra case is something very similar. Who is he? He is technically an unemployed guy who doesn't have a job, but has crores and technically, isn't it? I mean, he has crores and crores. He calls himself a businessman. I mean, even the Pani Puri wala below my apartment is also a businessman, technically. But at least I can see him doing something, making about 10 to 15 grand every evening. But the point is, what is Robert Vadra doing? He made his money during the time when Congress was in power. What have the BJP done to kind of? There are hundreds of cases like that. We all know it, Meena and Jaydev, that these cases needed to be closed. But the problem is, it's almost 11 years since Modi government has come to power. It's time that they tell either that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a British citizen or not. Yes, sir. No, it doesn't take more than 2 minutes to say it. Don't tell me the Home Ministry doesn't have evidence. No, we have written to the British government. We asked them to give the evidence. Arey yaar, pick up the phone and tell those guys tomorrow onward, boss, we are not going to do the FTA with you. You already signed the free trade agreement. We are putting it on a pause right now till you kind of answer these questions. Till you send back Vijay Mallya, we are not doing it. Till you send back Nirav Modi or whatever it is, we are not going to do all this. Plus, we are not going to do for these things. You need to play it tough. Look at where the Trump is doing with Venezuelans and the Mexicans and others. If you घी में बोलते हैं ना सीधा घी सीधा उंगली से नहीं निकलता तो टेढ़ी उंगली से निकालना पड़ता है. That's the way of getting things done. And I'm sort of very, very disappointed with this, because these cases are dragging on for eternity, and people like Robert Vadra must be actually laughing from inside, saying, "Look at these fools; they can't do anything to me." That's what I feel. So.
Yeah. Moving on to another piece of news, in a dramatic policy reversal, Pakistan is now embracing Bitcoin and actively building a national reserve with support from MicroStrategy founder Michael Saylor. Announced at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, this initiative leverages confiscated crypto and promotes mining, marking a complete shift from the previous crypto ban. Now, State Minister Bilal bin Saqib met Saylor to discuss this new direction. What do you think of this?
We know who this company belongs to. I mean, the front end is somebody, but the back, we know that it belongs to Trump and his family. They hold more than 60% stake in this crypto business. The reason why Pakistan has got into it, because one, they're broke, they don't have any money. So they got into it because they are assured of some funding from some source. The second thing, if you remember, why Asim Munir was there for not anything else for the lunch. And as we say in English, there's nothing called a free lunch. So obviously, when he came in for the lunch, the obvious thing was the minerals that are there, which Chinese are right now digging up in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and those areas. The rare earths which Trump desperately wants. He tried Ukraine, it didn't work there. And now he wants Pakistan. So Pakistan will do anything to keep US happy. Anything. Because after Iran is gone, The only Islamic nation with a bomb is Pakistan. So ideally, Meena or Jaydev, you can decipher this. If I am in the position of President Trump, of course I can never be, but still I'll just assume for a moment. What would I do? I said I would go after the other nation, which is the only nation which has Islamic nation which has a bomb, and take away all the nuclear assets. Okay, let them run their power plant and all that kind of stuff with nuclear energy, but all the missiles, which wherever they have stored it, either I will lock them up in a big room and keep the keys in Pentagon, and I will tell Asim Munir that no more, you cannot use this stuff anymore, because a nuclear missile is never kept assembled. It has to be assembled. It takes time. There is a warhead and then the rest of the stuff. So, I mean, this is what is happening because Pakistan technically is broke with a capital B. They don't have money. Now they're trying, the World Bank, if you remember, the World Bank, people think that the World Bank started financing Pakistan just last week. No. The World Bank and IMF have financed Pakistan 52 times in the last 65 years. 52 times in the last 65 years. And, Congress complains saying that Modi government did not vote against the loan. Take out the record, the number of times it happened during the Congress regime. Montek Singh Ahluwalia will know about it. Manmohan Singh, of course, is no more now, but they would have also spoken about it. Pakistan has been getting help from the World Bank and IMF, and they've been ruling that money, routing it for missile purposes from the US. When Afghanistan war happened, I mean, Pakistan got a lot of stuff free, but they also paid for a lot of stuff. Recently, as much as recently, when they wanted some more of ammunition from US said, yeah, we'll give it to you, but you have to pay for it. So that is the state it has come to today. I mean, nobody gives anything free. Even Ukraine doesn't get anything free now. President Trump is very clear. So this kind of crypto stuff which they're doing, and remember, Pakistan doesn't even have a stable stock market. The stock market is, I don't know which country you can even refer it to, but be worse than maybe Botswana or Sierra Leone or something like that. And they want to get into Bitcoin. Remember, why Bitcoin? Because Trump is running it. And mark my words, the moment Trump is gone, 3 years from now or 3.5 years from now, this Bitcoin thing will crash, because the next guy who will come in will be least interested in this Bitcoin thing. And it might be JD Vance for all you know, or it might be a Democratic Party that will come in again. Whatever happens, this is a high-risk game Pakistan is playing. And Pakistani dictators love one thing: the kids to be educated in Stanford or Oxford or wherever it is, MIT, and they need to have a very fancy home in London. That's the first thing any Pakistani general would do, or any Pakistani politician would do, or even our Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah will do. And they've done it also. And this is what they want. So therefore, Bitcoin, bhaad mein jaye, they will run for anything that can give them all these things. So even if the nation goes down the drain, they don't bother. An average Pakistani on the road wouldn't know the difference between a Bitcoin and Satta Bazaar. Nothing he would know, and that is the problem.
So, Suresh, just hours after the Modi-Carney meet at the G7, Canada's intelligence agency CSIS releases a shocking report. For the first time, CSIS identifies Khalistani extremists as a national security risk. The report states they use Canadian soil to organize, raise funds, and spread violence in India. This is a very strong finding, isn't it?
Yeah. For all you know, Meena, getting Canada into FATF will be the next one. At least get them in the grey list, because it's very clear that Canada itself is admitting that the funding is happening. I mean, this is no rocket science. Everybody knows it's happening. I mean, if Canadian Royal Mounted Police or Canadian intelligence didn't know about this, they're kidding. They're making a fool of themselves. But look at what's happening today. I call it the Bhasmasur effect. Finally, Lord Shiva gave the word to Bhasmasur, and he tries to test it on Lord Shiva himself. This is exactly what will happen to Canada. They will come back and place it on Canada's head, and then Canada will not even know what hit them. Because the Air India bombing, which everybody knows who did it, Justin Trudeau's father managed to kind of get all these guys off board. Got them, even though they got convicted, he ensured that they didn't go to jail. But the point is not that. The point is very simple: is what are these guys trying to do? If the same thing is done sitting in India, and I would advise the Indian government to do this. Actually, they should do it. Get half a dozen of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and those Bajrang Dal guys to go to the Canadian embassy every day and burn the Canadian flag, and ensure that they shoot enough videos and send it back to Canada. Or get the Canadian Quebec movement and say Quebec wants independence from Canada. We will support Quebec. What will the Canadian government do? I mean, it's only making noise, nothing more than that. Even that's what even the Khalistanis are doing, kicking Modi's picture. Will any country allow this? Will tomorrow, for example, if Trump's picture is put up somewhere like this, and some crackpot from US comes and kicks Trump's pictures in Canada, will the US government sit tight? They will ensure that, hell for whoever is ruling Canada. They don't care. The problem is our government also should pay back. Tomorrow they should put up the picture of Carney in front of the Canadian embassy and get the Indians to go and either kick it or do whatever they want with it. Okay, even spit gutka on it. Do whatever it is, but it has to be done. We need to pay them back in the same coin they're doing it to us. We don't want to be the next Mahatma Gandhi. We're not going to win the next Nobel Prize. Sorry. We need to show that we are tough, because no other government would allow this kind of nonsense where people come on board and people come and go and kick the prime minister of an independent country, burn the flags, and do all that nonsense. These guys should be put on a no-fly list. They should never be able to fly out of Canada at all. And now the Canadian government wakes up and says, oh, we know what, there are Khalistanis here. You didn't know this before? You knew it. It was just that Justin Trudeau didn't want to do anything about it. And the present prime minister has realized that, sorry for using the word, but he's screwed. Because US is not taking anything. US is making their life miserable. The only way to fall back is to go to India and say, buy some stuff for us, please. We also sell pistachios. We also sell almonds. So please buy it from us. Sorry, we are not going to do it. You first lock up those guys. We don't want anything to do with those guys. Please take them out and throw them out. That is what we are trying to say. This is exactly what it should be done. And these guys should be thrown out.
Yeah, and Suresh, something very, it seems almost amusing is this Operation Langada, which is happening in Uttar Pradesh against criminals. Now, if the criminals, now the criminals who are being caught, they are being shot in the legs to paralyze them so that they are unable to commit crimes in the future. I actually couldn't believe it when I was watching the news. I mean, this sort of a name, Operation Langada. Then I realized that, see, he's someone who does things so quickly. Yogi Adityanath, he does not wait. So it's something to be admired, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely it needs to be admired, because see, at the end of the day, there should be a fear for the rule of law. Okay, let's get this very clear. The rule of law needs to be respected. In India, the problem is the law is an ass. Somebody said that, and that's very, very true in India. I'm sorry, I said this before. I said I care a damn, even if they take me to the court. Okay, the law is an ass in India. Only danda works here. Hit the guy on the leg, break his leg, or shoot him in the knees, and he will understand. Not even he, the other guy who's planning to do this will get the message. Why does he run the bulldozers into the houses of the criminals? It is to send a message to the next guy down the road that you try this and this is what will happen to you. I mean, Israel does it so well. They used to kind of demolish the houses of suicide bombers. Imagine they used to do it. What Yogi Adityanath done, we also started doing it in Kashmir. Okay, and now what happens? Now all those guys have quietened down. This is what we need. We need to have that Langada. You see, every time there is a rapist getting caught or a gang of thieves who shot somebody getting caught, you see them coming out of the police station. Sometimes I feel like they're acting, but it's real now. I understand that it's actually true. They're getting all those third-degree treatment inside, and they come out limping. And next time those guys watching him will say, boss, I was planning to do something similar, but I'll not do it now because this is the treatment I will get. Because in India, what happens next third day, the guy will get a hotshot lawyer, he will get bail, and he will walk on the road freely. In Telangana, at one time when the Naxalite movement was at its peak, Meena, there was a case in Hyderabad where some guys were robbing buses leaving towards Maharashtra and northern Telangana, and even Karnataka, the district buses as we call it, interstate buses, mostly which start around say 6:30 in the evening. I mean, the government knew who these guys were. They caught them once, twice, thrice. The gang of about 6 or 8 of them. But they kept coming out on bail and kept doing the same thing over and over again. What did the government do? One day they just rounded them up after they had caught them doing this thing and then shot them. That's it. After that, till date, we haven't heard any such case happening again. All the 6 to 8 died. Along with that, anybody else who was planning to do it also realized, boss, there is a message in the bottle. And that is basically that if you do this, you will also get it. I think it's a very good treatment. I'm all for it. I know it's extrajudicial, There will be some human rights guys who will go to the Supreme Court and say, "Boss, we need compensation for this. This is not done. This is not, this is just injustice to people."
Yeah. So another very
Yeah, yeah.
curious.
Just one
Yeah. Back.
one question I have is, Rahul Gandhi was on a mysterious foreign visit. So, did he attend George Soros' son's wedding, Alex Soros? What do you think of this?
No, I don't think he attended it because see, there was a lot of rumors that he attended. There was some AI generated images also going around saying, "Look, Rahul Gandhi," but people said, "No, no, 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 it can't be him. He's looking too handsome in that. It can't be Rahul Gandhi." So the point is simple: is George Soros or whoever it is. Remember, Jaydev, we spoke about this earlier. Why the Modi government is not cracking down hard? Okay, they have cancelled the FCRAs of some agencies. They have put some restrictions on others. Amnesty got kicked out. Al Jazeera got kicked out. BBC got raided. All that is fine. But then for every guy who's you are locking up, there are another 110 guys operating out there. And this is where it is. Why go after Rahul Gandhi? Go after the others who are funding him. Raid them. You know pretty well where NewsClick gets its money. You know where Dhanya Rajendran makes some millions. These are people who used to go around begging. Even now they go around begging for money. Even you have guys like, Zubair going around begging for money, and then he keeps driving in fancy cars and gets funded by the Karnataka government, gets rewarded by the Tamil Nadu government, and then gets cases filed in Bangalore against those who abuse him. This is what is happening. But I think the time has come. Modi government, okay, Supreme Court will release them, doesn't matter. But file 110 cases against them. Then they will be going from cases from Assam to Gujarat and from Kanyakumari to, right up to Udhampur. Let them keep going to courts and answering those questions, saying where do they get the money from? They need to lock them up. It's time that Modi government shows a bit of spine. They've shown it with Pakistan. They've shown it with other things. But I think they're scared of the courts. What will the court say? To damn with the courts, whatever they will say. The presidential references come back to the Supreme Court saying, do you want to dictate to the governors and president to tell them how many days they should take to sign the pending bills? And Meena and Jaydev, where the Supreme Court quoted a section saying you should do it. I hope you have read the judgment in detail. They quoted a Pakistani constitution in this to say that in Pakistan, the governors or whoever is ruling the respective areas have to sign the bills within a certain number of days. Okay. Not the Indian constitution. That is why the president asked in the reference, where in the Indian constitution does it say? It doesn't say. They have quoted the Pakistani constitution to say that the president and the governor has to clear the bill. This is what I'm saying. We need to kind of crack down hard on these characters. And Rahul Gandhi going and attending somebody's wedding, I'm not really bothered if it does or it doesn't. Because in any case, whenever there is a serious incident happening in India, Rahul Gandhi disappears. We've seen that before, starting with 2611.
So what you say is very interesting, Suresh, because and very, very true itself. Because see, if you look at the SSR case, there were WhatsApp messages between Riya Chakravarti, who was the prime accused at that time, and Kwan, Jaya Saha, saying that how to drug Sushant Singh Rajput. And they said in court that see, WhatsApp chats cannot be used in the court. But now, recently, the judge has said that they can use WhatsApp chats against a woman, okay, who has been accusing her husband of something. So these double standards are very strange. When it suits you, you want to use the WhatsApp chats. When it doesn't suit you, you don't use it.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. One high court says something, and the second high court says something. This is what is happening. And the courts open up at 11 in the night for somebody, and it tells others, why did you come to this court? Same thing. I have gone to the Supreme Court in 2018 when there was a death threat against me in Kerala. And what did the Supreme Court ask? The first question they asked was Justice Lalit and Justice Parashar asked, why didn't you go to the Kerala High Court? I said, I'm not from Kerala. I was only born in Kerala. But the threat has come from Kerala. And my lawyer argued that, look, the High Court is closed because of vacations. So that's why we came to you. They're closed for the Onam holidays. Oh, then fine, then we will listen to it. The problem is the moment Kapil Sibal stands up, or Indira Jaising stands up, or Colin Gonsalves stands up, or Salman Khurshid stands up, Subramaniam Swamy, or even Chidambaram stands up, there is an immediate hearing, Dushyant Dave and all these characters. I'm telling you, the entire thing is a scam. How are some people getting hearing in 3 days, while others don't even get a hearing for 3 years? Whoever said the law is equal for all or law is same for all is an idiot or is a liar. It is not for same for everyone. It is same. It is for people who have money, who can get Kapil Sibal, who takes 50 lakhs for one hearing, and they will get you the bail. They will get the Supreme Court to open up in the night. They will get your hearing in 3 days without any questions being asked. So all the Sushant Singh Rajput's thing about WhatsApp messages, the problem is they will twist the law they wanted, and that is the saddest part about the Modi government. They're allowing all this nonsense to go on. They need to have somebody who's very tough to handle law and justice ministry. Get somebody who knows how to kind of get these guys on board. I'm telling you, how many Supreme Court judges have declared their assets, true assets, including that of the relatives. I have only one judge, I think, has recently indicated that he has 104 crores in assets, which he claims he made as an advocate. I mean, must be the richest advocate in the world, actually. And, to make 104 crores. I mean, this is the kind of judges we have in the Supreme Court. Imagine 4 army seniors sitting at lieutenant general or major general level and deciding the next army chief. Will they allow it? Now, when it comes to appointing the chief election commissioner, the Supreme Court wants one of the guys to sit there. Why, boss? Let the chief 3 election commissioners sit and decide who among them will become the next CEC. You can't have. You had an NJSC. You struck it down. Who gave you the authority for that? This is the problem. We allow this nonsense to go, and the government should have bought in the law again and said, boss, now we will decide on whom to appoint. Even in the US, which these people quoting for anything and everything, the Supreme Court, the judges, you know it very well, Meena Jaydev, that they are appointed by the president of that day. You have, even now you have nominees of Bill Clinton, you have judges appointed by Bush, you have judges appointed by Biden, and even judges appointed by the earlier Trump administration. And they are very clear about it. These are political appointments. The judges are politically appointed in the US. But did somebody talk about, that kind of judiciary in US has gone to dogs? No, nobody does it. They give one-sided judgment based on who appointed them. But then that is the case, fine. But in India, this kind of laws, somebody said you can issue a summons via WhatsApp. Now, some other court says something else. This is the most ridiculous thing. And sometimes when the High Court give good judgments, these guys go in state. Mark my words, this is what happened. Mamata Banerjee's judgment, I mean, this is something that we all need to talk about. That she brought in so many backward class among Muslims. Again, the assembly passed a resolution. There was a sham of a survey. And luckily, the High Court in Calcutta is still active. And they stuck it down. I think after Allahabad High Court, the Calcutta High Court is the most active in the country. But mark my words, none of the judges from there will ever make it to the Supreme Court. Because this mafia sitting in Supreme Court will not allow that to happen. They will not allow a judge, who kind of gives judgment, kind of far more radical than what these people think. There is this entire thing about this collegium is a sham. And it's high time government gets its act and says, sorry, we will also there. Maybe you can send in the Chief Justice, but you guys cannot sit around the table and decide whom to promote, whom to transfer, and nothing like that. It doesn't just happen.
What you said is so true, Sureshji, because if you look at the case of the woman who was killed in Calcutta, and what happened was Chandrachud, who was a judge at that time, said that he wants to have transparency, and he had everything in camera. And the opposition of the state attorney was Kapil Sibal. And then what happened? They were trying to show that it's very transparent, when actually there were statements coming from people who knew the girl and who knew what happened, and they said this was not a job done by a single-handed man. And then after this was they declared this puny-looking man who's not even the size of a mosquito, as the rapist of the woman, and who was brutally raped. Her eyes were smashed. Everything was done by one single man, according to the court. And then what happened was, when it was closed, they even offered the parents so many lakh rupees, which the parents refused.
Yeah, it's correct. There's no doubt about it. That's why I said again, I'm repeating myself, Meena, is that if you have money in this country, or if you have some human rights jokers going around you, you will get justice. A normal man on the street will not get justice in this country. Of an offhand, out of 100, there must be 2 cases which these guys will proudly hold up and say, look, we are kind of protecting you. Nonsense. You're protecting Kapil Sibal, you're protecting Dushyant Dave, you're protecting Indra Jaising and all these people. The Supreme Court should put up a kind of, they don't allow RTAs, but they should put up a chart to show how many cases are pending from how many years. At the hearing stage, forget the ones that are pending from years. That will be, in lakhs. Just tell us how many people filed, the petitions, and how many of them were allowed by the court till date. How many of them are heard at what age? In Excel charts, we always call this age, isn't it? How many days did you get your payment? That they ask. So age-wise, was the cases heard in 3 days, 6 days, 9 days, 12 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? Let the Supreme Court release a chart like that, and then we will know, the true fate of what these judges do. Why do they take up some cases in a jiffy and they don't listen to the others at all? This should be there. And I mean, it is, and for every person who works, when we have our appraisals, it's always, how did you perform? The Supreme Court never has any appraisal. The judges get their salaries, they get their pensions, no matter what they do. They should get only their pensions and salaries if they have disposed of so many cases. The government should determine that. Only then should they be allowed to get their pensions. And, so of course, the salaries anyway would be paid, but the pension will not come unless you do this. And that should be the law. That should be there.
As you know, we did an interview with a public prosecutor with regards to the Janvi Kukreja case. And for the last 5 years, he has not been paid any salary by the state, which is now under Devendra Fadnavis. And they want, which means that they are implying that you close the case.
Yeah. Right. See, this is what I'm saying. We can go on discussing till the cows come home, but the problem is very simple. Is that, in this country, the rich people have access to the law, the lawyers and the judges. A poor man coming from down south, traveling in a train for 36 hours from Kerala, comes to the Supreme Court and his hearing just gets postponed by another 6 months. That's as simple as that. He has to pay his lawyer. He has to pay for the cost of staying in Delhi, travel cost, everything. And the poor man goes back empty-handed. He's asked to come back after 6 months. And that after 6 months, what happened? The same case repeats. The same thing happens. So at the same time, Kapil Sibal will immediately get a hearing. You saw what happened to the Waqf bill. Come on. How come the Supreme Court is so free to hear what happens to the other cases the same judges were hearing? All those cases get pushed back. They get pushed next 1 year or 2 years. What happened to those litigants? The Supreme Court is anyway the rich man's club, but even this makes it even worse. Court of last resort. Sorry. No, this court is absolutely brain dead.
On this note, we end this session. Thank you so much, Suresh ji, for giving us your valuable time. Good night. Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.